Hi guys, I'm MightyBalls and welcome to the review and how to play the M46 Patton KR, the Tier 8 American Premium tank. Within this video I'm going to show you a few statistics on how best to combat this tank and how best to drive this tank. And I'll also give you a couple of replays which will show you exactly how this tank plays. So let's go over to the stats. So within this tank it's got moderate DPM of 1853.97. That's not the best, but it's pretty decent. It only has alpha of 240 with a penetration of 192 with standard ammunition, and the reload is 7.77 seconds without any brother in arms, scum rammer or anything. With this tank I do suggest you have V-stabs, gun rammer. Now this bit's optional. You can either have vents or you can have optics. I've personally chosen vents just to get that little bit extra out of your crew. For instance, my DPM's gone to 2106.53. Your dispersion, everything gets better, so the reason why I've done that is for that reason. I mean, I personally have small repairs, small med kit, and then automatic fire extinguisher. I always have automatic fire extinguisher because my reactions aren't quite as quick as they need to be when you get set on fire. Also, if you have a 2 or 3 man crew, a skill crew shall I say, I have brother in arms, I have radio operator. I seem to get safe stow, that's probably because I'm used to playing Russians and Germans. Snapshots, smooth ride, and they're the ones I would say are the necessity to start with. And then everything about your tank should be a lot better on regards to handling your vehicle. Your view range is at 419, which isn't maxed out but is pretty decent. Now if you're one of those people who like to play medium to long distances, I would swap out the vents for the optics and then you can max out your view range. Now this tank is very lightly armoured, when you're seeing them quite dead on. Top plate is 130. Most things you'll meet will be able to go through your top plate, and also your bottom plate, which can go down as low as 94, 93. Flush on, and your turret's fairly weak at 100 to 170, and your gun mantlet can bounce a few, but only if they're hitting the bottom or the top. If they're hitting the cheeks of your mantlet, it's only 114. The cupola's very weak at 87. Now even if you angle this tank pretty sufficiently, it's still quite weak. You can angle this tank so it's automatic ricochet if you angle this well. But again, your armour, your front armour is pretty trash, and so is your turret. On the side, again 80, around 50 to 100 on the side, and on the rear, just about anything with HE can go through your butt. But the back of your turret should take any HE unless it's a premium HE from T49. So now giving you a rough idea of the tank, I will take you over to a few replays and tell you what's good and what's bad about this tank. Okay, I'm on Malinovka and this looks like a tasty lineup. I'm top tier, which in the M46 Patton KR, that is absolutely amazing. It's got amazing gun, brilliant gun depression. The only thing I would say is its aim time can let you down sometimes if you're the type of player that just likes to poke up, snapshot, get back down. I would say the MUTs or the CDC or a tank like that is probably better for you. But this tank is an absolute great credit grinder, and if you like the Pershing, the Tier 8 medium American tank, you will love this tank. Or even if you're a fan of the Patton group, you will love this tank. So I'm heading off to the usual spots just to try and catch out anyone trying to YOLO through this bit, because whoever makes it to one side or the other like the Spic's doing tends to be a dominant area. So a couple of tanks are spotted. The Aal, I take a shot, I'm unlucky there because it bounced on top of the roof, so I pull back and I take one more shot, which goes into the side. Super Pershings goes unspotted. So let's see the weak points about this tank. The armour, very weak. You can pull off some miracle bounces, but in general, unfortunately, you can't. The aim time is a little bit long, so you have to spend that second or two making sure your aim is perfect before letting go of the trigger. The view range is decent, but it could be better. I mean, the Persian, I think, is slightly better. Take a shot at that AMX-12T and make an absolute abysmal attempt of it. Luckily the Spic had fire from the J Panther next to me and helped kill him off. So I put a shot into the side of the T28 prototype. Even though it was angled quite extremely, they have weak armour. Aim at the sides if you can have chance. You tend to penetrate quite often. So my team are winning 2-1. The hit pool is still very close, 1,000 in it. That can go at any time. A Hellcat spotted. I put a shot in and put him down to roughly 60% of his health. Now, this tank, I mentioned the aim time, I mentioned the armour. Now, one thing is quite apparent. The shell velocity is quite slow. If you notice, I have to aim quite in front of the tank I'm shooting at, which can make you miss some shots. The ammunition on the AP rounds are quite cheap, which is quite nice, but the penetration is absolutely brilliant, and you'll find yourself, when you're top tier especially, even against tier 10s, as long as you're aiming at weak spots, you shouldn't have to shoot gold. The gold is there for when you're seeing IS-7s sideways and things like that, E100s on the side. So I put a shot into the Persian, as you saw. I had to give a lot of lead, but it is an accurate gun. It tends to go where you're aiming. You just need to aim that little bit longer and give a bit more lead, and you'll find the accuracy will help you out. So I've done enough of my camping bush, as they say. I'm going to go and try and help out the Spic and take out the TDs, because it's looking a bit hairy on the hill, and the chances are we're about to fall on the hill. So we need to make sure that we have at least got one section of the map where we can control. So this tank, another aspect of the tank is the mobility. It's kind of fast but kind of slow at the same time. It just feels sluggish. It's an American tank. Most Americans, as you know, feel quite sluggish when you're driving, and that's this type of tank. It does go around 40 odd kilometers an hour, which can get you around the map, but unfortunately it takes you ages to get to that speed. I put a shot into the J Panther. It was gold because I knew I needed it. Take a shot at the T28, it bounced. I expected it to bounce, to be fair. I was very hopeful that it'd go in. And now we have the southern part and they have the northern part. At least we've won the territory of this section, so at least then we can progress. I see an IS-3, I take a shot. Again, it penetrates. I see if I can get another shot on. I spot the Persian, he spots me. I stop, I aim, notice the long aim time, but notice the accuracy of the gun is actually pretty good. I pull back. I see if I can spot the ISU again without getting spotted myself, because if I get spotted and hit by that, it's going to hurt me. But at the moment I'm full health. I've done 1850 damage. I've not done a lot, but I've done enough for the team at present. So I'm trying to get some spots out so my team can take some shots. I spot the Pershing and the ISU. I take a shot at the ISU. Unfortunately it went slightly to the right and hit the wall. The other artillery is spotted. I take a shot, I kill him. I then notice that I'm shooting gold still, so I load my next shot to be AP, because it's a premium tank. The name of this game is to make money. I pull back from the bush to keep myself unspotted, and I take a shot into the side of the Super Pershing, aka the T26 E4. So I pull forward trying to get spots on him again for either me or my team to shoot him. I take a shot and that goes high. If you notice, I'm trying to keep their team spotted so my team can do the damage, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's the case. I get spotted. I take a shot at the ISU. He snapshots and unfortunately penetrates me, which puts me down to 50% of my health. I take a shot that dips just under his tank. I go for the tracking shot and he goes in just in time. So my Tiger seems to think that he's Arnold Schwarzenegger and progresses. He gets taken out. My T20, the T26 E4 takes a shot at me, and luckily for me it doesn't penetrate. So I've put myself in an awkwardest position, but it needed to be done. I need to be able to take these two out. It's me versus two. The artillery don't seem to be taking any shots. So I'm not going to try and spot for them because they're not taking shots at them anyhow. So I'll take a shot at the weak spot of the T26 E4, but miss. I'm trying to get below the ridge line. I'm still trying. I take a shot, I penetrate, he hits. Luckily he hits my tracks, but the Super Persian penetrates me through the turret. So my shot now is going to be gold. I need to finish this guy off to make sure it goes through. I'm going to aim for the weak spot still, but I'm going to try and penetrate him this time. I now do. So I put a shot in, I move to the right in case he pulls around the corner. It's me versus the ISU. He pulls out, I shoot, and I take him out. So let's take a look at the stats. So we won. We actually earned 91,025 credits. I penetrated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tanks, killing 4 of them. I got a high caliber medal for the amount of damage I did, which was 3,281. I got a base experience of only 986 because I wasn't spotting my own targets. I spent too much time relying on my SPIC, my light tank on my team, to do all the spotting while I did the damage. In my eyes at the beginning it was pointless both of us going there, and the SPIC pointed out at the beginning he was going to go there, so I let him go there. Because I stupidly didn't realise I was firing gold for half the match, I only made 28,109 credits profit. I made 1,479 XP because of being premium, and because it was a ×3 for the day, I ended up earning 4,585 experience with 222 free experience. Out of 29 shots fired, only 19 hit, of which 16 penetrated, giving me a grand total of 3,281 damage. So anyway, let's go over to the next replay so I can show you a bit more about this tank. So it's Erlenberg this time on Assault. I'm looking at this team on top tier again. This is absolutely brilliant matchmaking. One thing I will notice with this tank is you do see tier 10s, but it's not so often as tanks like the Mutts and things like that. You seem to get mostly tier 8s with a few tier 9s and seldomly tier 10. That might just be the look of the draw I'm getting, but it seems to be a reoccurrence after playing 50 odd games in it. So I'm top tier, I'm attacking on Erlenberg. I'm going to go quite aggressive, and I'm going to go straight up to E2 area and try and harass to see if I can take out some tanks. So I've talked about the armour, I've talked about the gun. One thing I haven't talked about is the gun depression. The gun depression is 10 degrees I believe, and I'm about to show you exactly what 10 degrees can do to your opponent if in the right hands. So I'm going to make myself off to E2, D2 area, and hopefully find some heavy tanks, or if not heavy tanks, at least some TDs. So I'm pushing along. I've got a majority of my team here. My other side doesn't seem to be having anyone apart from 2 light tanks, which are now trying to get out of there while the chaff is chasing them. So I'm at the area I want to be. I'm going to turn right here and use my gun depression against the Ferdinand. But first I spot the E25, I track him, he pulls away. Now if you notice what I do now, I got 10 degrees, I shoot him, I pull back, he cannot get me at 10 degrees. 10 degrees seems to be an absolutely sweet spot when trying to approach your enemies. It shows next to nothing of the tank. I track the Ferdinand. For some reason he's not repairing, which is absolutely brilliant for me, so I'll keep him tracked while my team are annihilating him. As you can see, I put in one last shot, but unfortunately someone took him out because I rolled quite nicely actually. I put another shot in. If you notice, I tracked the IS again. Now one thing I will tell you, if you want to win a lot of games, try and track your opponents. The reason for that is you're not going to be able to have the DPM to wreck him in a matter of seconds. Your team can help. So I'm keeping this tank tracked, getting my damage whilst letting my team give damage as well. That there is called team play, and that there will help you win the game. So I'm sorry about this IS. I'm sorry for making it an absolutely abysmal game for yourself, but it was you or me. I choose me, Pikachu. So anyway, I've won that flank. I want to make sure I'm not going to get hit by any of these big TDs. So I put myself behind the building. I spot myself a small TD, the J Panther. I put a shot in, unfortunately it bounces. This time I take a little bit more care. I take a shot and the light tank takes him out. I take a look at these two tanks just in case I can get a shot on them, but I can't. So now my thinking is I'm not going to go across. Never, the rules of this map is never cross the bridge towards the cap. The reason for that is look where the CDC is, look where the AMX-12 is, and look where the T-34-3 is. They're all in an area which can absolutely wreck and decimate your team if you cross that bridge, that section. So I've decided I'm going to go the long route. I'm going to go back to where my spawn was, and I'm going to take the nice little long route round. Now even though this mobility of this tank isn't great, it's still adequate enough so you can do these type of manoeuvres in a time frame which can benefit your team. Now you will notice if you cross this bridge you will get decimated, and you will see by the end of the game that most of my team die because they're trying to cross the bridge. Guys, you need to start learning that sometimes you can't make it, you can't force your way into a situation. So what you need to do is find another way around. So I'm going to flank round and hopefully get the butt of the opponents, which is the weekend, which means I don't have to fire a premium. I see the IS-6, I take a shot and it penetrates. I was quite lucky there because the IS-6 armour is quite strong. Oh, I do apologise, it's the T10. So I carry on going. I'm going to try and get myself unspotted and out of sight. I know there's going to be an E25 around the top because an E25 is an absolute amazing target, amazing tank at distance. So I spot the E25. Unfortunately, I did an absolutely horrendous shot. I hit the rock. I see myself the M46 KR, which is the same tank as me. I take a shot, I hit his gun. Hopefully that broke his gun, which will help my team. Now if you notice, the flight time and aim time of this taking a shot is that poor that I let the E25 go there. If it was a MUTS or a CDC, that probably would have ended up killing him because I would have had quicker aim time and a quicker shell velocity. But anyway, I'm going to push around, hopefully get the M46 KR by surprise, as well as the T-34-3. I see myself a E25 and I push forward, I kill him, and now I should have the rear of most tanks. I take a shot, or should I say I was about to take a shot at the KR, but he's dead. I spot myself a CDC, I take a shot, I pull forward, I stand reverse back because I didn't think he'd take a shot. He takes a shot, I take a shot because the velocity is that slow. The CDC managed to get down. So I'm going to carry on progressing forward. I take a snapshot into the T-34-3, and gratefully it seems to hit him, but unfortunately only tracked him, which is good because my team ended up taking a big chunk of his health. So I'm quite confident where the AMX-12T is. I still think he's camping that area, so I'm going to stay this area and hopefully keep out of his way. I put a shot into the TVP. I spot the CDC. I see he's retreating into the distance. I see if I can get a shot, but I can't. And I carry on focusing in the area of the SPIC and the TVP. I put a shot in, he takes a shot, and thankfully the 12T showed me his position. I now know that he is still in exactly the same spot he was camping in 2 minutes ago. So I'm going to pull around to this area and hopefully take them by surprise-ish, because they know I'm here, but I'm hoping they won't see I was aggressive enough. Put a shot into the SPIC, I put him down to below health. He's now one shot. I take a shot, I put him out of his misery. I see the T-34, I put a shot in and I take him out. Now all what's left is the AMX-12T, because we saw the CDC running across there a second ago where the Ferdinand is. So I'm just going to push around here. I know the 12T is 1, maybe 2 shots, depending on if anyone got any blind fires in. I push forward, I spot him, I shoot at him, and it's game over. So let's go over to the statistics of this game. So within that game I did a whopping 126,327 credits, penetrating 10 tanks, which gave me a total of 3,576 damage with 1,885 assisted damage, which I did by tracking. Remember the IS, I did 492 tracking assists against him. The Ferdinand, again at the beginning, 607 assisted tracking damage. And that T-34-3, which I accidentally tracked when I wanted to penetrate him, I did 400 assistance damage. Same with the SPIC, when I ended up shooting him near the end, I kept him tracked while shooting him, did 288 track damage to him. So I got 1,402 base experience for that game, which was quite a decent game. I got 4 kills and, as I mentioned, 3,576 damage. Now because of all that tracking damage, I allowed my team to do quite a bit of damage. Now that helps you for your gun marks and things like that and your experience, and also helps your team to win games. So guys, if you're trying to help your team to win and you've got a low win rate, try tracking tanks so that your team can do damage as well as you to that tank. So out of 126,327 credits, I made 117,809 credits because I didn't fire any premium shells, which gave me a total of only 7,000 for replenishing my ammunition. And because I only got hit twice by a 12T, I only had to pay 1,378 credits for my repairs. So it was 2,103 credits experience with gold membership premium. I then get a premium tank bonus of 210, and because it was a times 2, I believe, at the beginning, I ended up with 4,416 experience for that game. So let's recap on what makes this tank good and how to play it. Well, the gun handling is okay. It's nothing spectacular, it's okay. Its shell velocity is rather poor, but its accuracy is rather good. Its gun depression is pretty good, one of the best in tier 8. I think only a Persian can match it. And then you've got its armor. That's what lets this tank down, is its armor. But at the end of the day, if you're going to get hit in this tank, you're playing it wrong. The mobility of the tank is it's got a decent top end, but it's slow getting there. It's rather sluggish. It's got poor ground resistance, hence why when you go uphill or on any soft terrain, you suddenly feel like you're driving a mouse. Now, how to play this tank? Well, it's pretty simple. You keep to mid distances. You don't ever try and brawl, because you you haven't got the armour to trade with tanks like the IS-3, the 110, even the T-34-3 or anything tanks like that. So you keep it at mid-distance, trying to use ridge lines if possible to try and get that gun depression at its maximum, so your armour efficiency is at its maximum. So I hope you like this replay. If you did, please like and subscribe. It won't just help this video, it'll also help my channel. So until next time, I'll see you later.